If you want the best financing terms, you need multiple offers, and I'm going to show you side by side how different rates and structures can be from lenders. So we're going to be looking at a Walmart CPG supplier who worked with Bridge to solicit multiple terms. We can see here this one company, same financials, got 3 vastly different term sheets. As you can see, the facility size, one lender was only comfortable giving this borrower $2 million, while 2 others were comfortable giving them $4 million. The rates are also across the board different. Again, same financials, same company. They also have additional fees that are baked into that rate. So while this lender may be the cheapest on paper, they have things like unused line fees and monitoring fees. Meaning, if you have a $4 million facility and you've only borrowed $1 million, you're going to be charged an unused line fee on that $3 million that hasn't been deployed. As you can see, all 3 lenders are different on how they're advancing on their receivables. Lender number 2 is giving 85% of overall AR. Lender number 1 has a concentration limit on the AR. So for their largest customer, they're only able to receive 50% of their receivables. Lender number 3 is also advancing 85% on the AR, but their largest customer can only be 75% of that outstanding availability. There's also differences on how they're advancing on the inventory. Lender number 1 will only advance 30% on the inventory, and it cannot exceed 50% of the receivables. Meaning, if a borrower has $1 million in outstanding receivables, they can only borrow up to $500,000 on the inventory. Closing fees are something to pay close attention to here. Each lender is only charging 1% of the overall facility fee. As a reminder, lenders number 2 and 3 extended $4 million terms, whereas lender number 1 only extended $2 million. So that closing fee here is going to be $40,000 for lenders number 2 and 3 and only $20,000 for lender number 1. But there are also annual fees, and lender number 2 does come ahead because they're only charging 0.75% for the remaining years, whereas lenders number 1 and 3 are charging 1% again annually. Something that's important to note when considering term sheets is the length of the term. Lender number 1 only has a 1-year contract, whereas lenders number 2 and 3 are 2 years and 3 years. You can always exit a lender early, but there will be early termination fees, which are defined in the term sheets. For example, lender number 1, if you leave within that first year, they're going to charge you 2% on the facility fee, or 2% of $2 million. Whereas lenders number 2, if you leave in the first year, it's 2%, and then if you leave in the second year, it's 1%. These are important things to consider when thinking how long you're going to be with a lender. Lender number 3 has a 3-year term, and if you leave in that first year, it's a 3% termination fee on that full facility. Something that was really important to this borrower were the personal guarantees, and that's ultimately why they went with term sheet number 2. Lender number 2 did not require any personal guarantees. When you apply for financing with Bridge, you're going to be able to compare terms side by side, but you're not alone. You're going to have a financing expert like myself help you look through the term sheets and figure out what's most important to you with a lender.